So it's that time of the year again where we have the 50% off Criterion Collection sale at Barnes & Noble's, either at physical locations or better yet, online if you don't have one near you. And this is, I think, the best time to actually get Criterion titles if you haven't already, because at full price, they're pretty expensive. And this sale happens twice a year, once in July and now here in November. So I'm going to be going over my top 5 Criterion titles that I really recommend that you should pick up if you don't already have it. And these are going to be my own personal titles, so you may or might not agree with it. But all in all, these are just going to be some really great titles that you're going to be happy to have in your collection, especially getting at a really great 50% off price. And so the first movie is one that, honestly, I don't think I've ever seen another movie quite like this. And that movie is Brazil. So this movie came out in 1985 from director Terry Gilliam, and it stars Jonathan Pryce from the famous Monty Python series, and also some other really famous actors like Robert De Niro. And to explain this, it's really hard. It's kind of categorized as a sci-fi dystopian, but it just really goes out there in many different directions. There's some fantasy elements, some dramatic elements, definitely a lot of comedic elements, more dark comedy, and even some horror elements in certain scenes. But in general, you have Jonathan Pryce's character who works in a dead-end job in a world where everything is controlled and monitored by the government. He actually hates his life, but he is able to escape that through daydreaming. And this is where the movie just goes in all types of places. You don't really know whether you are in the daydream world or the quote-unquote real world. And it's just such a fantastical odd ride, and I really do enjoy it. And this is currently the best way to watch Brazil. This is in just Blu-ray. Maybe they'll make a 4K in the future, but honestly, the quality is just fantastic. This is probably the best it's ever looked so far. And of course, the special features on here are the best that this movie has ever had. So this is the first one, and really the most unique movie that I've ever seen, definitely in this collection. And then the second one is an absolute classic, and it's this right here. The original Godzilla or Gojira from Japan, 1954, black and white. This is the monster movie that started off with the most famous monster of them all, Gojira, and it also comes packed with the 1956 Americanized version as well. And so if you love monster movies, kaiju movies, this is the one that started it all. And there's really not much else to say about this. This is the definitive best edition, and I really do love watching this. And the special features on here, they're just packed. I mean, if you love Godzilla, Gojira, then you definitely have to have this in your collection. It is a must-have for all monster movies, and especially Godzilla fans out there. And this next movie is also another classic, but in a completely different category, and that movie is The Princess Bride. This is directed by Rob Reiner, stars Carrie Hughes and Robin Wright. And if you could think of a world where there's Robin Hood, the Merry Men, but packed with a whole bunch of comedy, then this is it. And also Andre the Giant is in here as well if you are a fan of wrestling. And this packaging, this is 4K and Blu-ray. This is the most unique that I have seen. It comes in this really cool booklet style. But the film itself, it is just absolutely a wonderful film. If you could think of movies like Spaceballs, but set in the whole world of Robin Hood, that's what you get out of this. You're going to get so many laughs. And to this day, I still get a lot of laughs out of this. And that's why I have it in my Criterion collection. And the number 2 film in this collection is one that I've seen countless times. And the opening scene with the crazy Iggy Pop soundtrack is unforgettable. And that movie is Trainspotting. Now, there is a Trainspotting Part 2, but this is the one that I'm always going to go back to. And this was directed by Danny Boyle and stars Ewan McGregor. And this movie back in 1996 is really the movie that set off both of these people's career. And honestly, I don't think I've ever get sick of this. And this is so many different types of movies together, because it is at first a movie about addiction and just the whole life of young people in Britain. But it does change to other elements. But in the end, it's really a story about friendship And these characters are absolutely awesome. They're written so well. There's a lot of depth to them. And the soundtrack on this is just second to none. And this is a movie that I'll keep coming back to over and over again. And I absolutely love watching Trainspotting. And that's why it's my number 2 in my Criterion collection. And so my number 1 movie in my Criterion collection is one that is really special to me. It's close to my heart. And the ending soundtrack on this, when they roll the credits, still makes me cry to this day at times when I'm watching this. And that movie is The Breakfast Club. This is directed by John Hughes. It stars Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, Emilio Estevez, Ali Sheedy, Anthony Michael Hall, and they were at the height of their careers in the 80s. And this is my favorite John Hughes films. And the overall story of this is really simple. You have a bunch of high school kids who are in detention on a Saturday, but there is a lot more to that. And within this group, you have the stereotypical jock, rebel, popular girl, bookworm, outsider, quiet person. But all of these types of personalities, and especially as they start learning more about each other, you yourself can relate with, especially when you were at this age, and because this is something that is timeless. Because all of us, as we are growing up, we go through these different stages, and it is a wonderful coming of age story where people learn more about themselves, each other, both internally and externally, but also they really grow out of this in many different ways. And so these characters have a lot of depth, and you grow to really love them and the entire movie. And that's why it is my number 1 movie in my Criterion collection. And it's one of my favorite movies of all time. I absolutely love The Breakfast Club. And this one is in Blu-ray. I don't remember if they have it in 4K. Not yet. But still, you're going to get a fantastic film. This is the best that it's ever been. And the movie itself is just timeless. I absolutely love this film. And this is my number 1 film in my Criterion collection. So that's my top 5 films that I recommend to add to your Criterion collection during the 50% off sale at Barnes & Nobles. These are just really amazing films that I think you really be proud to have in your collection, especially if you love these films as much as I do. And once again, this is 50% off in practically all their films. And so if there's any other titles that you want to pick up, these are the best times to pick them up. And if you did want to support my channel and get any of these titles, I will leave affiliate links in the description area below. And if you actually had any other titles that you enjoyed out of the Criterion collection, I'd like to know that as well in the comments below.